Ricardo and Sabrina grew up with the certainty that they were twins. But one day, a shocking revelation during a blood test shattered this belief. From that moment on, their world changed forever. And now, they find themselves embarking on a difficult journey to discover the truth about their origins and the hidden secrets of their family. What will happen? If you want to follow their adventures closely, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss the next updates. Katerina, her hands marked by the long years of work on the plantation, jumped up, her heart in her throat. Her screams grew louder and louder, echoing among the rows of orange trees. When she saw her children, Ricardo and Sabrina, running towards her, carrying the lifeless body of her husband, her world collapsed around her. Other workers followed them at a distance, in a procession full of anguish and pain. The blazing midday sun cast distorted shadows over the tragic scene. "What happened?" Katerina asked, her voice cracking with fear. Her eyes tried to grasp the scale of the tragedy. "Mom, the keys to the pickup truck, quick!" Ricardo shouted, his tone brooking no hesitation. "The tractor overturned in the fields. We have to take him to the hospital now." Katerina, in a panic, threw the keys into her son's hands, and in an instant, they were all in the vehicle, the engine roaring along the narrow, dusty country roads. Her husband's blood soaked the seats, staining the inside of the truck a dark red, a hue that reflected the desperation that surrounded them. As Katerina desperately pressed her husband's wound, a silent prayer escaped her lips, mingling with the acrid smell of blood that permeated the air. When they arrived at the hospital, time seemed to stop. The hands of the clock in the waiting room seemed to move in slow motion. The family waited, uncertainty weighing like a millstone on their shoulders. After what seemed like an eternity, the doctor returned with news that lit a small flame of hope. "Katerina, we have managed to stabilize your husband. It took a lot of blood, but we can be optimistic." Despite the relief, there was still one request. "We need more blood donations," the doctor said, his tone serious. "Our supplies have run out." Katerina hesitated. "But the boys, they work hard in the fields. Donating blood could weaken them." The doctor smiled reassuringly. "Don't worry, Katerina. After donating, they will be able to return to work the next day. Their donation will save other lives." The twins persisted in donating, feeling the weight of responsibility and the desire to do their part. A few days later, while visiting their father, who was still hospitalized, Ricardo and Sabrina were called to the doctor's office. His gaze was dark, as if he were about to reveal a secret that would change everything. "Guys, thank you for your donation," the doctor began. "But during the analysis of your blood types, I noticed something strange. You are not biological children of the same parents." Ricardo and Sabrina exchanged a look of disbelief. "How is that possible?" Ricardo stammered, his voice cracking with inner turmoil. The doctor sighed. "I can't say for sure what happened, but it's clear there was a discrepancy. It might be time to investigate further, perhaps by consulting a lawyer." Sabrina cut him off abruptly. "Doctor, we were born on the farm, not in a hospital. My mother was assisted by a midwife. There was no baby swap." The two, 25 years old, raised on an orange plantation, had always accepted the small differences between them as normal for non-identical twins. Katerina and Mark, their parents, had always attributed these differences to inherited traits from different branches of the family. But now, that narrative seemed fragile and ready to collapse. Ricardo was consumed by anguish. If he was not the biological son of that family, who were his real parents? After the visit to their father, the boys decided to speak openly with Katerina. "Mum, we need to talk to you," Sabrina began. Katerina's eyes widened, fearing that it was something to do with her husband's health. "It's not Dad. He's getting better," Ricardo replied, and then, without preamble, added, "Mum, I'm not your son." "Who are my real parents?" Katerina's face contracted with pain. "What nonsense, Ricardo! You are my son, my beloved son." But Ricardo was not easily convinced. "The tests say otherwise. Only Sabrina is your biological daughter." Katerina, visibly shaken, tried to remain calm, but tears began to stream down her face. "It doesn't matter what a test says," she exclaimed. "You are my son." With a deep breath, she understood that there was no way to escape the truth. "Boys," she began in a calm voice, "it's time you knew the truth. Your father and I worked on this plantation for years. Here, I had a dear friend, Martina. She also worked with us, and we both got pregnant at the same time. But Martina never wanted to reveal who the father of her child was. During her pregnancy, we made big plans. Our children would grow up together, here among these orange trees. But one night, when Martina went into labor, something went terribly wrong." Katerina's face darkened as she continued to tell of that unstoppable hemorrhage, of how Martina, before dying, had entrusted her with the newborn, Ricardo, asking her to raise him as her own. "That same night, I gave birth to Sabrina." Ricardo and Sabrina remained silent, shocked by that revelation. If you were surprised by this story, don't forget to leave a like. Katerina, holding her children's hands tightly, whispered softly, "Ricardo, nothing will ever change the fact that you are my son. Your real family is here, with us." But there was still one last piece of the puzzle to be revealed. "Your mother, Martina, before dying, revealed to me the name of your father. It was Andrea, the son of the plantation owners. She never knew, and she kept it a secret for fear of being chased away." Ricardo, touched by the depth of Katerina's sacrifice and love, hugged her tightly. "I forgive you, Mom. I know you did all this for love, and nothing is more important than this family." If you also have a story to share, write it in the comments. What would you have done in Ricardo's place?